It's all about the Health and Healing Hub experience each and every Saturday on your favorite station between the hours of 2 and 4. ContrastRadio.net.
This is the space that we talk nature and natural solutions, self-care, self-love and self-acceptance. The Health and Healing Hub experience. This is where we can heal and develop in healthy and essential ways. Welcome again, everybody. Grab a snack and a nice hot cup of tea, take a seat and just tune in. It's wonderful to have you with us. This is the Health and Healing Hub experience. It's hosted by myself, Funmilola, and the fantabulous Miss T. Now, Miss T cannot be with us this week, so it's just me one, yes. I'm going to host you, but I've got some beautiful, awesome guests coming from all walks of life, all walks of the world, life, experience and living. So I'm joined by Sis San'Ra, Sis Lucy, Sis Ruth, Sis Bernice, Sis Wilma, Sis Kelly and Sis Karen. And so it's a full house with the sisters only, brothers, kings, awagwan. You know without a doubt that you're welcome here. The platform is yours as well. I don't know what we've done to you. Did we do you some? I'm joking. Brothers, your energy is important, so do come along and share the floor with us, all right? Yes, just wanted to put that out there. So, welcome everybody. This is the part of the show where we delve into our main discussion. And this week we're going to continue part 2 of our exploration on the subject of maintaining happiness.
Yeah.
Oh, good folks. That's amazing feedback.
True.
Yeah. Karen.
Hi.
Hey, Karen.
Hi. I think sometimes people are put in our path to sort of teach us how to discover more about ourselves. And sometimes it can be a reoccurring lesson if we've not learned it until we change whatever it is. And I think sometimes it's like sometimes the most adverse situations or the most trying situations that can come out maybe through childhood or throughout the timeline of our lives, that sometimes these things are really difficult for us. It's almost like we're going through that pressure, like diamonds at bottoms of pressure. Yes. And same way how silver and gold is tried, and it can bring about even it to be about a superpower within ourselves, that sometimes when you're told to shut up or sit down here, pick me, that is because maybe there's something that is the challenge or the catalyst for you, because that is where your superpower is. It's in speaking, it's delivering. Sometimes it may not be a public speaker, it could be just maybe that you can just have the wisdom to speak the right thing at the right time to the right people.
Yes.
Know when to keep them out, know when to speak. These things are important, and sometimes we get the stuffing knocked out of us and it's very difficult. Or, and I just feel that when we see these challenges, or they might present themselves as challenges, and it's even difficult because for me it's even a work in progress. Sometimes it's a case of changing the perspective that we're looking at things holistically, and seeing that everybody is their own individual, but we're all interconnected. We've all got a we've all got a kind of hive mind, if you like, or a greater, wider consciousness. So for when we know that, like another person, what might be an arm, in Christendom, it's the body of Christ, but it would be the same kind of thing. If you look at each individual as an anatomical part, we're all part of the same whole, living the experiences. And it's almost as though that these things keep on repeating, and then they can be repeated even generationally, because you live what you learn. If you're, lots of women are subjugated. Some women are, they don't want to say, but some women, they actually put themselves in a position where they can know that something isn't particularly right or particularly healthy, or not even give it a word, even give it a moment's thought. But they've learned generationally and culturally that this is the way how women behave. And if you, even though just because it's culturally acceptable, or just because something is deemed normal, it's not necessarily normal. It's not necessarily healthy. So even things like asking for help. Well, asking for help when you need it, it's like it's a badge of honor to be a martyr. And I'm not saying that people should grumble and complain. Sometimes you've got to just get on and keep it moving. But at the same time, sometimes when we do need help and we are struggling and we're skinning teeth and carrying on like everything's okay, and it's clearly not. And that's when people have breakdowns. That's when people have
depression.
They're not living the authentic self, because they're always thinking about what are people going to say, what people are going to think. But really, ultimately, the only thing that really matters is yourself, your relationship that you have with yourself. And it is a learning journey. I'm going through it myself, and it's like every day I keep thinking to myself, when I get up in the morning, it's a case of rewiring the hard drive. And even just doing a little experiment by waking up and thinking, the day could be really cold, and you might not really have any incentive or impetus to want to go outside, but just by saying things like, today's going to be a really good day, I'm happy, even though you're not. Sometimes you've got to fake it to make it, and eventually you kind of do by default. But and the days when you think, everything's against you, everyone's against you, and then that's what it is, because you're projecting that. If we're made in God's image, we're made in Source's image, we have that divine spark within us.
Manifesting.
And if you keep projecting these things that everybody's out to get you, that's what's going to come into people are going to come into your life. It's like a magnetic cloak. You are attracting whatever it is to you, and
positive energy.
Even as much as from my own personal experience, that I'm struggling with the reality of juggling lots of moving parts at the moment. It's still is quite nice to still find pockets of happiness throughout the day, whether or not it be a plate of food, whether or not it be that I've got family and loved ones, and people who genuinely care about me, and some of these people are actually in here as well, Ruth and Lucy, and I know that even though they might not speak every day, that they have my best interest at heart. And there's nothing more comforting when you know that there's a kind of symbiotic relationship, and that somebody who can be maybe not too close to you geographically can still have a place that's so close to you within your heart. And I think that that's the thing that I think generally speaking, we're kind of moving away from that, and it's just trying to look at life and look at everything that's going on in the world, near and far, and saying, well, how can I put my consciousness, how can I use the spark that's within me to try to make things better? And all that comes down to is working on your own self. And when you start to do the work, and it's very painful doing shadow work, because it's just like you start opening the doors and everything like falling out, and it's like, how am I going to cope? How am I going to cope? But if you've got good people around you, you've got strategies to assist you, whether or not it's YouTube videos, whether or not it's counselling, whether or not it's a support group, whether or not it's family, friends, loved ones, being in nature, I think that, you have a fighting chance. But, it's just one of those things where, like, if you are struggling and there are people who are struggling, it's always best to ask for help. When we're told to ask for help, but, well, depending on what it is, some things we don't like to ask for help with, but it's all a learning curve, and it's just the more that we go on, it's the more that we start to discover about ourselves. And when people do come in and maybe they're not in alignment, we have to question, well, why are we not aligned? Why are our interests, our ideologies, our behaviours and conducts not in alignment? And, start reflecting inwards, because we're projecting everything outwards, because it's everything, in the world of quantum physics and everything that, that the scientists will be able to explain to you, or people in the spiritual community could articulate it better. But the long and the short of it is that it all boils down to us as an individual, and how we want to see the world is how we should be within, and it's just like when it comes to things like recycling, and people say, oh, well, I don't bother recycling because, loads of people aren't doing it, and it's not going to make, like my one bin is not going to make a difference to landfill, but it actually does. But that's another debate. But still, it's the same kind of thing. Everybody's got, everybody's part of the thread of the fabric of the universe. And if one stitch unravels, then, it does make a difference to the whole tapestry of it.
One of the things that we're dealing with here in this dimension is polars, the opposites of everything. How do you see white people in it? This empire is falling.
It is.
Another one is rising, and the people of the other empire is actually people of colour.
It is, and I wholly agree with you.
So sorry?
Yeah, I wholly agree with you.
So how do you see them?
Okay, right. This is the thing, how I see them. I see them, it's going to be a bit contentious, but I see them as the youngest race. I see them as, and genetically, I have them within my own bloodline. Some of them are my ancestors.
Same here.
I have darker relatives who are dark like Sudanese, and you go back 3 generations and you're looking at some white person in Scotland, so that aside, I see a lot of things as that's the physical side, but I also believe that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And I see for all the things that have happened to us historically, I see different things that have been used against us, our own spirituality, our own intellect, but also I also see as a lot of gaps in our own knowledge about our own people, and I think that there's lots of people who may say, social media or otherwise, that some of the people who we think are, the oppressors are not really the oppressors. I don't know if you've heard that at all. So you might have like the black aristocracy. You might have other organizations in other fraternities, but just like the way how, not running the risk of sounding being politically incorrect, but the way how sometimes where you might have an Indian man, you have a shop, and in front it with a white woman in there, and because if people knew that it was an Indian man shop, they wouldn't want to go in there, but if it's fronted by a white person, then they would. It's like the people who actually really control are the black people, and the white people are the puppeteers. They're being puppeteered by the black people who actually really own whatever. But that is another story. But I personally think that if you're dealing with the spirituality of things, that although colour and all this kind of thing is an issue, well, it is an issue for the purpose of being in this timeline. I think that there's always everything that happens in cycles, and you're up and you're down. We taught people things that were used against us, and then there's the rise and there's the fall again.
It's been so interesting. It really, really has.
Yeah, I was really enjoying listening to Karen, and I think you've got a topic for another conversation there. Thank you, Karen.
Amazing. There was something I wanted to close with quickly. I'm just looking at something that I just put here now. Okay, so to end the show today, let's put a vote to which we think is the best quote. I've got a couple of quotes here from two famous people. The first one is by Johnny Carson, and it says, "Never continue in a job you don't enjoy. If you're happy in what you're doing, you'll like yourself, you'll have inner peace, and if you have that along with physical health, you will have had more success than you could possibly have imagined." Let me read it again. It's by Johnny Carson, and he says, "Never continue in a job you don't enjoy. If you're happy in what you're doing, you'll like yourself, you'll have inner peace, and if you have that, along with physical health, you will have had more success than you could possibly have imagined." That's the first one. Then the next one is by Roy T. Bennett. He says, "Attitude is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Optimism is a choice. Kindness is a choice. Giving is a choice. Respect is a choice. Whatever choice you make, makes you. So choose wisely." Should we have a vote? If you can remember, it's quite long they were. I should have got shorter ones. One or two?
Two.
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 Two for me. For me.
Right.
For me too.
So we got.
There you have it.
How many ones have we got? Oh wow. Okay.
Nil point.
Cool. Number two. So let's read that quote again. So the quote of the day, the winner, is by Roy T. Bennett, and it is: "Attitude is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Optimism is a choice. Kindness is a choice. Giving is a choice. Respect is a choice. Whatever choice you make, makes you. So choose wisely." Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Amazing to see you all. And same time, same place next week. But San'Ra, we're sending our love to you, all right, sweet?
Yes, we
Thank you,
will.
my darling.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you. Time really does fly when you are having fun, when you're in the zone, when you're doing things that interest you and that you enjoy. Need I say that our conversation time has almost expired again? We're coming up to the advert break, and after we will take you on a magical musical journey featuring the songs that have influenced us, moulded us and shaped us. Now, to the listeners, just another reminder, the information heard here is not intended to serve as medical advice and should not be used for the diagnosis or treatment of a health problem or disease. As I always say, investigate, do your own research when it comes to your health issues.
It's all about the Health and Healing Hub experience each and every Saturday on your favorite station between the hours of 2 and 4. ContrastRadio.net.
You are listening to Funmilola on the Health and Healing Hub experience. I have some special requests that I want to acknowledge. Nicola, superstar actress, I got you girl, I have you. You're requesting I Am Somebody by Glenn Jones. That's wrapped up for you. For Maxine, you're requesting Can You Handle It by Sharon Red. I got you. For Julia, you are asking for Optimistic by Sounds of Blackness. In fact, while I've got Julia on my mind, now she has a fantastic book out. It's available on Amazon, Crushed to Sparkle. It's all about upliftment and empowerment, especially if you're just coming out of a relationship. Get your hands on that gem. So, for Queen of the Stage, Kelly, who requests Destiny by Mary J. Blige. Gonna lock that one down for you. I'm gonna see if I can also squeeze in More Than Enough by, who sings this one? By Shea Universe, and it is, I believe, Maxine that has requested that. And then there's another one for Julia, That's What Friends Are For. So all of that lot should take us up to the hour or thereabouts, and then we're going to go straight into our advert break, and afterwards we're going to treat you to an hour of some yummy tunes that hold special meaning, that are dear to us, all at the Health and Healing Hub experience. So hold tight.